Hi, this is Nick coming to you from a small town grocery store. We're standing in their produce area, and specifically I want to talk to you about how to pick fruit at your local supermarket, supercenter, grocery store, or even a farmer's market. Now the first thing you should know whenever you're selecting fruit is that fruits, all fruits, are seasonal. The two that we'll be discussing today are both melons. One is a cantaloupe, the other one is a honeydew. Those are summer fruits, which means that if you were to buy a cantaloupe from your local grocer in January, the chances are A, it's not locally grown, and B, it was picked off of the vine while it was probably still green and then shipped to your area, which can affect the flavor when you buy it and take it home. That having been said, there are four things that people do, criterias that they use whenever they're shopping for fruit: sight, sound, touch, and smell. The first thing, sight. Whenever you come up to look at a melon, these are honeydew and these are cantaloupe. Now, we'll show you the difference between, just based upon sight, a ripe cantaloupe and an unripened cantaloupe. Now look at the difference in color. This appears more yellow, this still appears to be green. Now, I wouldn't base my shopping decision solely on sight alone, but that is something for you to consider. Now let's go over here and look at the honeydew. Some people say that when a honeydew is ripe, it will have a slightly waxy appearance to it. You could judge that based upon sight or touching. Again, this is one preference. Now, another thing to share with you, and I'm looking here, here's another example. Here is a melon that has some bruising on it now, and then a spot of mold, which happens with fresh fruit. You'll notice this has been damaged, it's bruised, versus these spots, which are not bruises. This is actually where the melon would have been lying face down on the ground before it was harvested. This will not affect the taste or the flavor of the meat or the inside of the melon. Bruising or cuts, gashes will. That having been said, let's move on to the sound. Some people say that whenever you pick up a ripe melon, you can slap it with your hand or thump it and it will have a deep sound. Riper fruits will have a deep sound. That's personal preference. That's another way that people use it. I personally don't use that. I use the touch method, which involves your thumbs. You place your thumbs on either end of the melon, again a honeydew or a cantaloupe, and you squeeze. And if the fruit is ripe, hopefully you can see that. If the fruit is ripe, your thumbs will move into the fruit. There will be a spongy feel. There will be a give, which means this fruit is ripe. This melon is ready to be purchased, taken home, and cut. If there's not much of a give or any give at all, that means the melon is still green and it is not ready to be consumed, unless, of course, you like your fruits to be that way. The last thing, smell. People say that a ripe fruit has a very sweet aroma to it. Now that would work if you were out in a field or buying in an open air market such as a farmer's market. However, at a grocery store, for example this store, this fruit is kept chilled to preserve it so it doesn't ripen even faster and ruin or rot. Which means if you come in here and pick this fruit up and smell it, you wouldn't be able to get the full aroma because colder temperature prohibits the release of the odor, meaning it would be hard to smell and tell if this fruit is ripe. So again, those are the four methods: sight, sound, touch, and smell. The last thing to share with you is this. Fruits, as they ripen, actually the contents or the meat of the melon is breaking down, and the sugars, the natural sugars, metabolize, which means a ripe fruit, if you've ever done this, tastes much sweeter than an unripened fruit. Fructose, did you know, is nature's natural sweetener. It is stronger than even table sugar, and it is natural in every fruit: bananas, apples, berries, and of course melons. Keep all of this in mind as you make your next purchase decision at your local supermarket, and enjoy fresh fruit.